The race to the White House is intensifying in New York as the presidential hopefuls ramp up their campaigns 2 days ahead of the state primary.
New York is offering the most delegates of any contest left on the primary calendar. That's until June. In California, the candidates now looking to win over those undecided voters. We are now joined by Democratic challenger Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you so much for giving us some time.
My pleasure.
Thank you. We're going to do this sort of rapid fire, sir. So
I'm in New York
yes,
now.
yes, sir. That's right. Absolutely.
No, yes. What's the question?
How important is the New York primary? Hillary Clinton is up in the polls. You have the momentum. What happens if you lose
not up in the national polls.
here?
We're kind of caught it there. We're behind here. I think we have a good chance to win here. Obviously, it's very important. There are a lot of delegates here. We've got to win as many of them as possible.
If you do not win, how far will you take this?
Will you take this? We're going all the way. Every person in this country, every state in this country has a right to cast their ballot for who they want to see the Democratic nominee be.
All the way to the floor in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Do you think that's good or bad for the party if this race goes that long and that far?
I think it's great for the party, and I'll tell you why. The only way the Democrats are going to win is when there is a large voter turnout. We are helping to create that large voter turnout. We are speaking to the issues of working people. A lot of young people, working people are now participating. Other point to be made. Every national poll out there now has us defeating Trump by significantly larger numbers than Hillary Clinton is. And that's true for the other Republican candidates as well. So I think a lot of Democrats are going to look out there and say, who is the better candidate to defeat Trump? And the answer is Bernie Sanders.
You get credit for pushing Hillary Clinton further left than she may have gone. Do you see that yourself, that you've helped shape her?
Well, I would look at it a different way. I am talking to the issues that impact working families. The need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The need to make public colleges and universities tuition free. The need to pass paid family and medical leave. The need to vigorously combat climate change and transform our energy system. When you're out leading and people respond on those issues, the need to demand the wealthy in Wall Street start paying their fair share of taxes. When people respond, then other candidates have to follow you.
And obviously, she has done very well among minority voters, particularly African Americans. You have struggled a little bit to make those same kind of inroads. Why do you think that is? And what would you tell Black Americans would be the difference between a Sanders White House and a Hillary Clinton White House?
2 points. For a start, you're right in saying that's where we started. We have come a long way during this campaign. Where we are now is among young African Americans and young Latinos. The polling has us, I believe, in the lead. Where I would say to the African American community, look at my record, look at our agenda on criminal justice issues, the need to reform a broken system, the need for real police reform, which hold police officers who break the law accountable, the need to rethink the so-called war on drugs. Too many lives, Black and white and Latino, have been destroyed because of possession of marijuana. I would take marijuana out of the federal controlled substance act. Look at my economic agenda. Health care for every man, woman, and child is a right. The U.S. joining the rest of the industrialized world. Making tuition free public colleges and universities by imposing a tax on Wall Street speculation. If you look at our economic agenda and how it impacts working people, look at our criminal justice record. It is the strongest record out there.
Sir, I want to talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This came up on Thursday, and you said, quote, if we are to pursue justice and peace, we're going to have to say that Netanyahu is not right all of the time. Of course, talking about the prime minister. What did you mean by that? And would you say that Israel needs to move back to the 1967 borders?
Well, in terms of the general statement, Palestinians are human beings, and Palestinians are suffering, and Gaza lies today in ruins. And these are issues that we as Americans have got to deal with. Israel has, I lived in Israel. Israel has absolutely the right not only to exist, but to exist in peace, in security, and free from terrorist attacks. There's no debate about that. But the American government has also got to recognize that Palestinians are suffering as well. And what I meant by my statement is long term, if we're going to bring peace to that region that has seen so much hatred and so much conflict, we are going to have to reach out to both parties.
A lot of news has been made out of your interview with the New York Daily News editorial board. The narrative that seemed to come out of that was that you did not have as firm a grasp on the details behind some of your plans. Hillary Clinton capitalized on that and said this during the debate Thursday night.
Senator Sanders' long interview with the New York Daily News, talk about judgment and talk about the kinds of problems he had answering questions about even his core issue, breaking up the banks. When asked, he could not explain how that would be done.
2 follow-ups to that. Can you talk about the specifics, how you would break up the banks, and one of your biggest promises, free public college tuition? How would you pay for it?
free public college, free tuition in public colleges and universities is paid for by a tax on Wall Street speculation would bring in more than enough money, not only to do that, but lower student debt as well. We bailed out Wall Street in their time of need. Now it's Wall Street's time to help the middle class. Breaking up the banks, you can do it in a number of ways. And by the way, the owner of the New York Daily News is a supporter of Hillary Clinton, contributed to the Clinton Foundation. And they print up a transcript. You know what? I don't know if you've ever seen a transcript. It's different than a news story. It makes you look not so good. You do it through Section 121 of the Dodd-Frank Act, which says that the Fed can do a study with the Federal Stability Oversight Council, and if 2/3 of those people decide that banks are posing a long-term systemic risk to this country, i.e. too big to fail, they go down, half the country goes with them, you break them up. Easier way is my legislation. The legislation that I've offered says the Secretary of Treasury in the first 100 days will make that same determination and then begin the process of breaking them up. When you have a handful of financial institutions that today have enormous economic and political power, when you have the top 6 financial institutions having assets equivalent to 58% of the GDP of this country, issuing 2/3 of the credit cards, 1/3 of the mortgages, in my view, they are too big to fail. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see us having to bail them out again. And by the way, even forget the risk element. That's just too much power in the hands of too few people. I believe we should break them up. Secretary Clinton does not.
And we're just a few miles from Wall Street, and we're in New York City. You know that's kind of the lifeline of this city, one of them. How do you woo over those people on Wall Street? How do you make them comfortable with the possibility of you as president?
I am not going to make the people on top comfortable. Look, let me be very blunt here. As you know, just last week, Goldman Sachs reached a $5 billion settlement with the United States government. Other large banks reached larger settlements. That's because of fraudulent activity. That's the simple fact. They don't give away $5 billion for nothing. That's the settlement. They engaged in massive fraud. That is what Wall Street does right now. They are a danger to our economy, danger to the future of the American people. I think they have got to be broken up. And by the way, I find it incongruous and wrong that some kid gets picked up with marijuana today. That kid has a criminal record for the rest of his life. The executives on Wall Street who destroyed this economy have nothing in terms of criminal charges levied against them. That's wrong.
Can you answer the 1967 borders question? We go back to Israel?
Not right at this moment, I can't, and nor would I. What you need is negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and you've got to work out a whole lot of issues, not just border agreements. There's a lot to be worked out, and that is something the United States should play an active role in trying to precipitate.
The tone of this race has changed so dramatically in the last few months. Has your opinion changed of Hillary Clinton as a person and or politician?
Look, I've known Hillary Clinton for 25 years. In campaigns, things get very hot. I've known her. I respect her. But I have been disappointed by the kinds of attacks that her campaign has levied against me. What I have always wanted to see and want to see right now is a debate about our differences on the important issues. And the bottom line here, the major difference that we have is, can you go out and raise huge amounts of money from Wall Street and the most powerful special interest and then go forward and say to the American people, oh, I'm going to take them on? I think most people don't really believe that that's the case.
How are you better, sir, on supporting or representing women, women's rights and families than a woman?
Well, I think my views are that I have had a lifetime pro-choice record of 100%. I am fighting for pay equity right now because women should not be making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. And I think my economic agenda, the agenda that we talked about, making public colleges and universities tuition free, having the United States join the rest of the industrialized world, guaranteeing health care to all people as a right. You know what? That benefits everybody. It benefits women more importantly than men. Also, we have a dysfunctional child care system in this country. Single moms are going off to work right now, unable to find high-quality, affordable child care. I will change that.
And in 30 seconds, I know this is tough. You've made some huge, huge promises in this race. Politically, can you really get it done through Congress if you're elected president?
Yeah. When the American people are prepared to stand up and fight back, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish.
But there's still Congress. There's voters and there's Congress.
Members of Congress, I know them pretty well, are not dummies. And if they look out and they see millions of people saying, you know what, we are going to join the rest of the industrialized world. We are going to have health care as a right, like Canada and England and France and Germany. Yeah, we can do that. And when young people and their parents say, you know what, it's absurd The kids are graduating school, $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 of debt. Yeah, we bailed out Wall Street. Now it's Wall Street's time to help us. When people stand up and fight back, whether it's raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, whether it's gay rights, whatever it may be, you can make profound changes. I am the only candidate who tells you, no president alone can do it. We need millions of people active in the political process. That's what we're bringing about right now.
Senator Sanders, thank you.